Hello everyone, I am Gabe, I am back, and I am ready to finish up this Elemental video series. Are you ready? I'm ready, because today we get to the awesome part. Today, we get to talk about the Dragon Lords. That's right, dragons, and the lords of them. Except fewer dragons, and really just the lords. The Dragon Lords. They're elementals, and we're going to get into what exactly a Dragon Lord is and what they can do. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. First things first, what exactly is a Dragon Lord? Dragon Lords are impressively powerful elemental mortal hybrids, born when an elemental lord bonds with a mortal host. The elemental lord is allowed to exist within the mortal plane for an indefinite period of time, while the mortal gains access to the elemental lord's powers. That's all well and good, but why are they given the title of Dragon Lord? Does the mortal gain the ability to transform into a dragon? No, they do not. Elemental lords are the only beings in the universe with the knowledge of how to craft dragons, but their realms lack the materials needed to do that. The mortal realm has an abundance of these resources, but there are no mortals powerful enough to complete the spell necessary to create the dragon. A Dragon Lord, therefore, is the only being with the knowledge and ability to create and command dragons. Since this is the only circumstance where dragons are seen, the creature that results from the bonding of an elemental lord to a mortal is known as a Dragon Lord. Now, what makes a Dragon Lord besides the whole dragon thing? Well, obviously, the entity must have a mortal body that is hosting an elemental lord. This effectively makes the mortal immortal, although it's more appropriate to call them timeless because they do not age and are no longer affected by the passage of time. Dragon Lords are also, by their nature, crazy powerful. Their power is not limitless. They are still restricted by the limitations of their bodies, but they have a vast wealth of power to tap into. They also retain their ability to exert their will upon other elementals and find more success with this than if they remained an elemental lord, even if they are influencing another elemental lord. While we're talking about their powers of compulsion, other Dragon Lords are more resistant to their influence. Additionally, Dragon Lords cannot control dragons they did not craft. This really only applies to dragons outside of the Dragon Lord's class, but if a Dragon Lord is slain, then whatever dragons they crafted will not respond to the commands of their elemental lord. Dragon Lords are also hard aligned to their magical class, so they can only use spells from their class, and an elemental lord cannot move to a new host without first killing their current host. Speaking of, within a Dragon Lord's mind is a fierce battle of wills. Not only does the bonding process amplify the mortal's inherent magical powers, it also similarly affects their subconscious desires, which often conflict with the want of the elemental lord, which is to expand their domain. Both elemental lord and mortal recognize that outside threats to their being take precedence over all else, but all other times both wills are at odds with one another. There are times when one will overpower and subdue the other, but there is no way to push out either entity that resides within the Dragon Lord's mind. And a quick note that I feel like I shouldn't have to make, but I will. A mortal can only host one elemental lord. Like multi-aligning, there is no multi-elemental Dragon Lord, and also, the only way to break the bond between an elemental lord and a mortal is to kill the mortal host. It's a permanent thing, so you'd better be committed to becoming a Dragon Lord. There are no takebacks. So, what else can and can't Dragon Lords do? Dragon Lords possess the ability to pass between the mortal realm and their elemental domain virtually at will. This power does take some time to cast and can be interrupted, but the Dragon Lord can retreat back into their domain to regain their strength if necessary. Speaking of which, Dragon Lords can also terraform an area to make it more like their elemental domain. While within this area, the Dragon Lord's power is further increased, and elementals of all levels, excepting the elemental lords, can exist without fear of losing their power to the mortal realm. This is not a true expansion of the domain, but it often serves as a good enough alternative while the Dragon Lord contends with the other threats to its power that often arise on the mortal plane. Now, if you remember from the Death Knight Magic video, I mentioned that there are elemental Death Knights, defined as elemental spirits that have bonded to a human body. In that video, I said that this was done by Demise, elemental lord of necromancy. That was a half-truth. I intentionally misled you then. The reality is that an elemental lord must be bonded as a dragon lord if they want to bond an elemental spirit or scion to another body. Unlike the bonding process that makes a dragon lord, an elemental spirit's host must have already vacated their body. Spirits and scions don't possess the cognizance required to contend with a mortal consciousness. An elemental force, being more intelligent than the lower classes of elemental, would be able to maintain a bond similar to a dragon lord's, and a dragon lord is able to create such a being. However, the resulting entity would be more difficult to control and would have about the same amount of power as a dragon, which is not. So, dragon lords stick to bonding spirits and scions with corpses. It's the easier option. Next question. Can dragon lords breed? Can you, a human person, make sweet, weird, magical love at a dragon lord to make a baby? Answer, probably not. It's assumed no, because elementals lack the components necessary for sexual reproduction, and the process of making the host immortal overrides some of their bodily functions. Nobody actually knows, however, because there aren't many dragon lords to study, and they don't take to mortals very well. Mortals are all seen as a threat to their mission, expanding the elemental domain. Yes, there are dragon lords present in the mortal realm, although during both series they are inactive, for now. There are confirmed to be 3 dragon lords: Pyrrhus, the Lord of Fire, Aquis, the Lord of Water, and Demise, the Lord of Undeath. The dragon lords take on the name of their elemental lord, not their mortal host. I don't want to give away too many details about them, because they're all the foci of their own stories. Again, inactive for now. But I will give you an idea of where they are in the world. Pyrrhus and Aquis rendered each other inactive in a war waged on the other side of the world sometime before or during the founding of the Brotherhood of Light and the Union. Demise is kept under control by the Kingdom of the South Sea, a nation of hydromancers that Swift eventually becomes king of. And that's not a spoiler, because this information has been available in Rise of the Black King and Lightbreaker for years. And I think that's everything I wanted to cover about the Dragon Lords. Again, this is something I've really wanted to talk about for a long time now, so thanks for indulging me as I ramble about something I think is super awesome. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to bring the Dragon Lords to you in a story one day. But until then, feel free to come back on Tuesday. Tuesday, I'll be talking about Alexander? Sure, I talked about the dealer. It's only fair we cover his counterpart in the Children of Shadow. Hope to see you then. Hi, I'm Gabe, and it took me a lot longer than it should have to record this in Slate. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing so you don't miss the next one. If you want more content from me, consider following me on Twitter, where eventually I'll tweet some more. If you want to learn more about anything I'm talking about or catch some details I missed, consider buying my books. Links are in the description below. Also consider checking out the Tumblr, where I post side stories and art about the books that I can't really put anywhere else. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.